right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Catch That with the R&B Representers. I am Elise, naturally Elise, that is, and
I'm JR.
Yes, and today we are being joined by the phenomenal Zoe. Hey, brother.
What's going on, y'all? What up? What up?
Call that man a genius, son. I'm sorry.
Oh,
no, look, Zoe, own it. I'm giving it to you. Own it, please. Please.
You do that to
I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it.
So I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit about Zoe, and then we're gonna jump into today's conversation. And so Zoe, from the Detroit area, he can be seen on stage as a keyboardist and musical director for the Grammy-nominated duo Foreign Exchange. In 2014, he did music work for the Adult Swim animated series Black Dynamite. He also co-produced the Foreign Exchange 2015 release, Tales from the Land of Milk and Honey. His album Skybreak was released in 2016, as well as an award-winning documentary, Making Skybreak. He also expanded his musical repertoire to include film scoring, completing full scores for 2 documentaries, and also, along with production partner Fonte, he helped compose music for the sketch comedy series Sherman Showcase. And in 2019, Zoe released Forefront, his 4th compilation-style album on the Foreign Exchange music imprint. But most importantly, he is actually one of my favorite artists, and rarely a day goes by that I am not listening to some kind of music that has him involved in it. This is not hyperbole. Dude is one of the dopest.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I need y'all with me all day so I can get that welcome and that intro when I go in the rooms.
it was cute. She left me out though. She left me out of it. She gonna say he's my favorite artist. Like, you couldn't put me in it. You knew he was mine too.
Speak your piece, brother.
Yes.
Haven't we met before? Do you think that's gonna happen?
On Amazon, y'all, have we met?
But yes, so what we wanted to talk about today is kind of talk about R&B in the 80s. And actually before the interview, we asked, what is one of your favorite albums from the 80s? And he said, Friends by Shalamar. And actually, I'm here. But and me and JR, hey.
Oh, y'all ain't saying nothing. What?
Yeah, come on, That's a good deluxe joint.
Hey.
He's flexing on us.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there's no skips. There's no skips on that album.
No. And after you sent us that, we were like, yes, like, because we love that album too. Damn. And I'm like the biggest Shalamar like super fan that ever was.
Yeah,
so that was
crazy.
So that's perfect. And actually and before we start talking about the album, I'm just gonna kind of tell what the other #1 albums from that year when that album came out. And some of those were Raised by Earth, Wind & Fire, Skyline by Sky, Love Is Where You Find It by The Whispers, Keep It Live, The Daz Band, Brilliance, Atlantic Star, Aretha Jump to It, Gap Band 4, Lionel Richie's self-titled album, Midnight Love by Marvin Gaye, and at the end of that year, Forever, For Always, For Love with Luther.
Oh, boy. So this is like 81, 82, and like R&B is moving, like it's still in kind of the live instrumentation age, and it hadn't moved to like drum machines and a lot of synth stuff. Well, some synth, but like a lot of drum machine based stuff. Because I always classify like that 80 to 83 period that was some blackout production right there. Like
it was. Yes, it was.
Coming out of the disco era to like the boogie era, which Leon Sylvers III kind of ushered in, and a lot of 4 to the floor stuff, a lot of up tempo, like 120s, 130s, and you're still in the live instrumentation, so like the creativity is just, it's all over the place. That's why I chose Friends, because Friends, the 3 for Love follow-up, which is another one, like 3 for Love and Friends is like 1999 and Purple Rain for me.
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying? Like that,
he hit my chest with that
kind of back to back, or like or it could be Around the World in a Day, Parade, like,
okay,
just kind of working hand in hand. In that type of progression, where 3 for Love was incredible with the mega hits and the Make That Move, but moving into Friends, like Friends is like that's a body of work, man. Like I went back through it before we got on, and I was like, yo, there's literally no skips on here. Like there's nothing. I think the one that I probably listened to the least was maybe like Playing to Win, but everything else like had its place, and the sequencing of the album was excellent. It made me feel like a kid. It was like my first like Goosebump album, but like as a kid, I didn't know what it was, like what that was, or what that feeling was, or why do I feel tingly listening to this? Like this is crazy. And now as an adult and as a musician and as a producer, like I'm able to understand like why this stuff feels the way it does. And now it feels even better than it did, back then, just because I know why. It's like, oh, that chord change. Oh, this drop. Oh, this, this drum break here. And, I'm able to kind of really, really pinpoint, what I really, really like about the album. And to me, like, this is Leon at his peak. Like he's peaking on this album. And even going into 83, where he, was doing some more stuff, and coming off of like that Whispers album you just named, Elise, and which has like a couple of my favorite Whisper songs like Emergency and Cruising In, and all that stuff is like, that's sunny music. And like his music and that music of that era influences my music a lot, because I'm always chasing that feeling, not necessarily chasing that sound. Like we did on like a Starlight or like We're on the Move, where those are like direct, I'm tipping my hat to Leon, like on those 2 songs, period. Fonte too, just the manner he's singing, Starlight, and singing it as Walter and Scotty. But I'm always, as a producer, like chasing, what I felt like to hear that song as a 4 or 5-year-old kid. And that music is special to me, because Shalamar was like my first group, like that my parents didn't introduce me to. You know what I mean? Like always had love for Motown, always had love for Isley Brothers, Earth, Wind and Fire, all that stuff that I grew up listening to in the house. But like Shalamar was my group. That was the one that I discovered on my own, hearing Night to Remember, hearing the songs from Big Fun and all that stuff. Like that was my stuff. So like when Friends came out, like I distinctively remember sitting in my grandmother's kitchen floor with pots and pans and rolled up ebony magazines, playing like the drums to, you know what I'm saying? So like and I'm like 4 or 5 years old, so right. This music does something to you. Even like looking at the record spinning on the turntable, seeing the Solar record emblem and that type of thing, and then going and looking and reading and seeing all that stuff, it's like it's incredible. So like I will still get in the car with my daughter and we're running Friends. Like she knows Shalamar. So.
Yes.
You know what's so dope about all of this? When I first heard you, Zoe, and I heard you on I think Authenticity, that album for me, when you was with Foreign Exchange, and I was like, yo, he's giving me a feeling of Leon Sylvers. That's why I said when Elise told me, she was like, yo, his thing, he picked Friends. I said, what? I was like, I can't wait to tell him, because I'm a big fan of Leon Sylvers. And anytime I listen to you and your production, it gives me that. You know what I mean? It gives me that Leon Sylvers. Sometimes you give me Kashif sometimes. And I'm like, Yo, this dude is, because I feel like Leon Sylvers doesn't get the credit that he deserves, and a lot of people don't talk about him a lot. So for me, a lot of people didn't. So when I heard you on Foreign Exchange, I was like, yo, he gotta be inspired by Leon. So for you to say that, and Shalamar being your favorite group and your group that you connected to, it was just like, it bugs my mind. I was like, all right, then my music is right, because Zoe liked them. So I was like, cool, because I didn't want to be wrong on here. You be like, nah, brother, I wasn't inspired by them. I'd be like, whoa, then my music is all wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, so when you said that, I was like, I hear it.
Like, even when I'm practicing and shedding out on bass, like I will pull out Leon stuff, like Leon produced stuff, whether it's I Can Make You Better is one I like to practice to. Make That Move is one I like to practice to. There It Is another one. Especially like the extended version, so I can really get my finger stamina up. But he's doing a lot, and it's interesting because I listened to his QLS interview, which Fonte had played Starlight for him, and he was talking about the We're on the Moon video, which you couldn't tell me shit for like 3 weeks after that. Like, I still want to meet him. Right. Yeah, like I still have to meet him and actually give him his flowers. Like, yo, man, like you really inspired me. Period. Like that's it. But it was interesting to hear him talking about his bass influence, which is another one of my favorites, is James Jamerson. So and I can hear it because I'm like, okay, there's a reason why I gravitate to the these two cats. Is because his playing is similar, like his the staccato kind of, you can't tell if he's plucking or if he's thumping, and I'm like, yo, that's a very distinctive bass playing style that he has and that he picked up. And again, like what you said with me, like that was my ear kind of analyzing him and his playing. So when he said that, I was like, that makes perfect sense.
And then am I wrong if James Jamerson, he played on Boogie Fever, did he not?
Did he? I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
I thought because it sounds like it. Like it sounds like a James Jamerson joint. So I'm like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, James Jamerson has a distinct type of playing, and I'm a Motown head, so I could talk about this all day. So, but so he was inspired by him. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Wow.
I just consulted the Googles. He did play on Boogie Fever.
Oh, he did? Okay. Okay, cool. Okay.
Perfect sense.
My music is on point. Look, Zoe, I'm trying to be right while you on here. You the music extraordinaire. I ain't trying to be crazy and look crazy on this joint. Oh, no.
Because he do be messing up and stuff, and I always let him know.
You ain't even got to do that. We got company here. You don't do that. Don't do that.
That's what I tell people. I'm like, yo, I'll read the liner notes. Now, I don't memorize all the liner notes.
Right.
I definitely put the effort for it.
Thank you, Zoe. You see, she be trying to clown me in front of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see,
And actually, on Friends, when I read the liner notes, Foster is playing the bass. On most of Friends, on most of that album.
And what you call another thing on Friends? I'm sorry that what's his name? James Ingram played on Night to Remember, right?
Sure did.
Yep.
Sure did.
Yeah. This album is everything. That's why when you said it, I bugged out.
Yeah, I thought he played on PYT, but I think that was Feeling Game.
He did.
He did play on PYT?
Yeah, he did. He did.
JR memorizes the liner notes. That's a compliment.
I ain't even mad. That's what we need.
He always knows.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Me, not me. I'm just like, it happened 80-ish.
Yes.
and JR's like, in the summer of 1982. And I'm like, okay. Try me not.
I'm that way too.
I don't do no math like that.
You ask any of my bandmates, you ask Carmen, like they be like, he's Rain Man with dates.
Yes.
So what is your favorite song off of Friends? And see if it matches up with ours.
Hold on, man. All right, hold on. I don't know, man. Like,
Because me and JR's is the same, and I wonder if yours matches ours. So
Yeah.
It depends. It depends, man.
But then I got one more.
I would say
right at this moment.
Out the gate, it was Night to Remember. Like that's what pulled me in.
Okay.
Now, present day, I would say, oh man, it's a toss up between On Top of the World and There It Is for me.
Mine is Last to Know. I don't want to be the last to know. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's just so R&B. Just to like it's just.
Yeah.
And that bridge is crazy. The bridge and oh boy.
Yeah. Oh
boy.
Look.
Crazy.
Uncle Howard was ready. Like he was ready for blood. You hear me?
Tell you something. It's not a lot of that's another one that don't get a lot of credit. There's not a lot of cats that's out singing Howard Hewitt.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. JR, I tell you, I go hard for Uncle Howard.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Oh my God. Every live though we do, this girl got to talk about Howard Hewitt.
I ain't mad.
Yo, we could be talking about the 2008. She's still gonna make sure she throw Howard Hewitt in the bunch. You'll be like, girl.
I ain't even mad because Howard comes with it like, I can't. What was the original lead singer? I cannot remember.
Gerald Brown.
Okay, yes. Now they had the jam. They had the jam with Brother Gerald, but when Howard came in, like the dynamic just. It flipped, and I'm sure that's one thing I want to ask Leon. Like, we're ever in conversation, like, how did you feel when they brought in Howard? Like, did you feel like, your production could kind of expand a little bit? Because I mean, his voice is just it's distinctive, it's dynamic, it's full. He's got a warm tone. Like it's, he's hitting on all cylinders, man. And he can do a Night to Remember, but then also do a Help Me. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Right.
I'm listening to Help Me today, and I was like, I didn't realize how much this bass line kind of mimicked Cosmic Slop.
Ooh. Damn, you right.
Like the opening bass line, not like for the verses, but the
yeah.
I was like, nigga, that's funkadelic.
Wow.
Now I don't know if it was an influence, but like, it literally just hit me today. I was like, this is crazy. Almost 40 years of listening to this album, I never heard that.
That's that music in you, brother. You can't help it. You can't
escape it ever.
Yeah.
And I think my other song I really love is "Help Me." That's my other one that I'm like.
Help Me. That's another one with a crazy bridge. Like it's like a really dark tone of a song, and then this bridge comes in, and you think it's gonna open up, and then it goes right back to the darkness. I'm like, man, that's crazy.
And after Don't Want to Be the Last to Know, mine is actually Don't Try to Change Me. And when I think of your song after it, because after every time I have to play that, I play Flight of the Blackbird. I don't know why, but it gives me that vibe. So when we played that on our radio show, Elise threw that on there, and I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? And like anytime I hear that, I have to hear that next. So when I was at work today jamming to it, I was like, wait a minute, I gotta play Flight of the Blackbird. I'm sorry. I gotta play that after I hear Don't Try It. It gives me that. I don't know why, but
Don't Try to Change Me reminds me of what he did with like Emergency.
Okay.
Kind of like the, just the straightforward.
Yeah.
Kind of the same, like, straightforward march, open hi-hat type of. But like to me on Don't Try to Change Me, the thing that gets that thing open is them strings.
Oh.
Like, come on, man. What?
I was like, that's why, again, when you said Friends, I said, yo, are you serious?
We can break this down all day.
All day.
Like, you know what I mean? Like when R&B had a string budget and a horn budget.
Yeah.
Possibilities.
Me and Zoe both looked down at the same time.
Man. See, okay,
Oh,
all right.
oh God.
Hold on, all right. Because like Night to Remember, I remember Night to Remember as a kid and loving it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Seeing the video when videos were brand new, and the video now, it ain't really nothing. It's just just them kind of in a frosted a frosted camera.
Yeah.
Right.
But back then it was like a huge deal to kind of get that visual with it. Yeah, man. Ain't no skips on this, man.
Not at all.
No.
I Can Make You Feel Good is like that's a perfect closer. Like that feels like a closer to an album. I remember being in my mother's car when she had the 8-track of the joint.
Ooh.
And I would hear I Can Make You Feel Good, and knowing that the song is, or knowing that the album is coming to an end, it's kind of like, damn, this shit over, man. Like,
and you can't rewind back then either.
Yeah, like I hope she goes to the next program and does
right.
For my folks that don't know, 8-tracks had the 4 programs, and you click. They even had 2 parts of songs, like Playing to Win Part 1, Playing to Win Part 2, because it didn't all fit on the same program.
My mom just gave me hers. She just gave me her 8-tracks and gave me the 8-track player. Oh yeah, it's in my room.
It still work?
Yeah, it still works. Because we tried it. My mom was like, I don't know now. So I tried to put one in there and then it worked. So I was like, all right, cool. So I'm going to be on Amazon. I'm going to be on eBay collecting me some 8-tracks for real.
See, he told you that. He didn't tell me that. I talk to him every day. He didn't tell me about a damn 8-track player.
Oh.
I didn't tell you? Oh, my bad. My bad. Sorry.
I thought we were friends, not the fair weather kind.
Oh, here she tried to Johnny Gill that one. You Johnny Gill that one. You want to make sure you threw Johnny in there, right? That's cute, Elise.
No, that's the lyrics to the song Friends. Friends. See what I gotta deal with, so? See what I gotta deal with? See? That's.
I thought you were trying to bring Johnny in because I know how you are.
She said, and not the fair weather kind. Oh my God.
You know what? Whatever. So
right there.
Title track,
whatever. Speaking on that, as far as that, what do you feel about the technology after coming out of the disco era and kind of going into Leon and Kashif? And did you think that boosted R&B in a way, or did you think that it took kind of like the authenticity away? Because just like you said, it was like back then we had the budgets for the strings. We had the budget for real horn players. You know what I mean? We had that. So what do you think as far as that? Did you think technology really helped R&B big time?
Yeah, I mean, like anything else. Because I mean, if they would have taken what they were doing from, post-disco era to like 83, kind of moving into 84, where they were starting to really bring in the drum machines, it may have just gotten stagnant. It may have, plateaued. It may have just, we may have gotten tired of that sound. So just like with drum machines, as to like, sampling in hip hop, like there's always an art form to this stuff. So like, none of it I will ever put down, because, me programming a drum machine is not going to sound like Kashif. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be a clear difference. So, what they were doing, like, is still incredible, because like, you still have to listen to stuff that Kashif did, that, Midnight Star was doing, that Atlantic Star started to do as well. Bringing in like the DMX drum machines and the 808s and things like that, and then expanding it, basically until New Jack Swing hit. I mean, 84 to like 87 was like, just really peak. We're just gonna go all the way in with all the electronics. And then here comes, Keith Sweat's album, and that kind of tilted everything.
Right.
Now we got a New Jack Swing everything. Like we got to sound like Teddy, and we got to sound like LA and Babyface, and that type of thing. So I think that it came in and did R&B some justice, just so it could switch up the sound a little bit. While I wish that era would have gone on forever and all that stuff. You know, we still need evolution at some point.
Okay, because I asked you that because sis know where I'm going with this. Because we always have an argument. Our crew always have an argument on Off the Wall by Michael and Thriller. And I'm the bigger Thriller head. But at the end of the day, our homeboy G, our brother G was like, y'all got to understand, he couldn't do what he did with Off the Wall that he did with Thriller because the sounds would have been completely different. And then he sent me a video and all this was like that Michael and Quincy tried to do that first. And when Michael heard the finished product, he cried because he was like, this don't sound right. But I'm like, don't that take out the authenticity of like the Memphis horns that we hearing on, you know what I'm saying, on Burn the Disco Out and all those. And I'm like, we don't really get that on Thriller. So I'm like,
right.
That's I'm like, ugh.
Well,
I mean, I'm
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm more team Off the Wall, just because I think that's Michael's black ass album. Like that's
right.
That's his black album. Like that album black as hell.
Catch that, G. Ah.
that album is black as hell. I mean, both of them you can play straight through.
Right.
But like, you know, I just Don't Stop Till You Get Enough to me is like kind of the perfect pop song.
Yeah.
Sure.
I agree with that.
Like
I agree.
It's perfect. It's warm. It's you know, it's still black. It's the percussion is extra crazy, particularly at the end when everything breaks down and everything is just in that pocket. It's, you know, it comes to that climax part, you know, when he hollers out and, you know, they just kind of vamp out after that. But like, to me, that's the perfect pop song. And Rock With You and Off the Wall and Working Day and Night, like all this stuff, you know, maybe nostalgia pushes it for me a little bit, but yeah, I'm more the Off the Wall guy. But I think, you know, sounds can still be authentic if they're coming from a human, like they're still being played.
Right.
So like, you know, synth sounds are still being played by somebody, rather than, you know, just me hitting a button and, you know, whatever happens. But I mean, still, like, even if you're hitting a button, like there's still art to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just how you put it together. That's like, you know, even now when, you know, I see kids, they're literally making albums from like their iPhone. Like I'm sitting there like, you know, I could either really complain about how easy this is, or I can just be happy for them and just be like, yo, like y'all are doing your thing and this ain't anything that I'm doing. I can't get on I mean, I can, but like, you know, it wouldn't be what I'm used to. And, you know, just wouldn't be, I probably wouldn't hit a bar that I have, but I'm like, you know, that's still another level of creativity. Like, it's just different ways of putting it together. So like, if you playing a synth and you see all these synths I got back here, it's like, if you're playing it, that's still authentic because it still has, you know, a bit of a human element too.
Right.
Yeah, and with music or anything, you work with the materials that you have or that you love, and that's what you make. But it's an artistry behind it. Like, you're creative, you know, you're putting it together in your way, and another person is just not going to do it the exact same way. So it is art. And listen, all artists out there, you ain't gonna like all of it. Listen, music has always changed. It goes through different eras. I think of my mother, for example. She respects the impact of hip hop and all that. Do she like it? No. Mm-hmm. But that was just an era that came through. She didn't particularly care for it, but she ain't knock it either. And that just happens, you know. We ain't gonna like everything. You know, I ain't gonna like everything.
And you gotta think about it too. Like, if there weren't the drum machines and all that stuff, like pretty much my second favorite producer team is Jam and Lewis. So it's like, you know, what they were doing with SOS Band was incredible. Live instrumentation, that type of thing. But then when they started bringing in the drum machines and incorporating that with live instrumentation also, you know, then you get a control, you know what I mean? So you know, it definitely wasn't all bad.
Right.
And speaking of Jam and Lewis, like one of my favorite albums from the 80s was in 1983 with SOS Band on the Rise. Like
Yes, indeed.
And that's that fusing of the synths, but also with instrumentation, but together, and that's just beautiful.
And On the Rise and dang on Sands of Time. Good gracious.
Yes, Jesus. Whew.
I gotta take my hat off to that one, boy. That's man, come on, man.
You ain't lying,
man.
It was like once SOS Band got Jam and Lewis, it was like a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Like it was
a wrap.
Yes, Lord.
Even
yes.
The song Sands of Time is like one of my favorites of the 80s. And then they had the nerve to do a reprise. I'm like, man, y'all playing with people.
Yep.
We don't even got reprises no more. See what I'm saying? This generation don't even know about reprises.
Reprises were incredible.
Yeah. Weren't they though?
They were incredible.
You know who I think probably had the last reprise that I'm thinking about is Tony, when she had it on hers and she came a reprise with Breathe Again.
But see, that's the same era. That's
right. You're right.
One of my favorite reprises, I'm gonna go a little further, is the Don't Be Cruel. The reprise.
Of course you would.
With the voices?
Of course you would.
And then he brought it back to the beginning of the Bobby album.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Scratch off. Like, nope.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
It's like, you don't get
Bring
this.
that pumping around in.
Oh man.
Yeah. So yeah. So JR, so we could talk about another producer. Your favorite album from one of your favorite albums from the 80s.
Well, I think we definitely tell the crew is definitely the Rhythm Nation, the Janet's Rhythm Nation.
Yeah, but the one we talked about though, I didn't say the favorite. One of your favorites. We were talking about Patrice Rushen.
My bad. I'm sorry. I forgot. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Look, I've been drinking, so blame me on it. But
that's a genius.
I love Straight to the Heart. I think that is a favorite for me. I feel like Patrice Rushen is so underrated. Like, she's a genius to me. 100%. I feel like, you know what I mean? And that's why I put you in that list. So take it, please. Take it. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. It's
gonna hurt. Okay.
But yo, it's like she's so dope. Like that. Remind Me that is my favorite thing from her. You know what I mean? And All I Need, and you know what I'm saying? Everybody, of course, know Forget Me Nots, but that album to me is just she comes from the jazz world. You know what I mean? So she's just dope. And I did not know from watching her Unsung, when she said she came out with this album, a lot of the jazz people kind of frowned on a little bit because they was like, this is not jazz here. And I'm like, I'm confused because I'm hearing the jazz influence all up and through this. I'm lost. I'm confused. I don't.
They hearing it like, you remember on Standing in the Shadows where they talked about how the Funk Brothers, you know, they be out at Baker's Lounge and they be playing. Have to come into the studio and then play that dumbed down music.
Yeah.
That's how they looking at it. They looking at it like, this ain't 3 chords. This 1 4 5. Whatever. was Feel So Real on that album?
No, that's on the Now that she came out with in '84.
That's my joint right there.
Oh my God, that's come on now. My family played that at every function we had.
And then Freddie Washington on bass.
Freddie Washington. Woo, listen. Oh, he don't get discussed either. Oh.
But another thing, which I think is a problem, well, not necessarily a problem, but in the arts and not just music, is just you have people that are these purists and they don't want to hear a sound evolve, or they don't want to put a little bit of their genre on something. They just don't like it. And and that also it comes to like fans, they want to put you in a box. It's like they want you to make the same record over and over, but if you do make the same record over and over, they complain that your music sound like. Which is it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it what you want? Is it one mic? Which is it? Which do you want?
Yep.
You know.
And people love to complain too. That's the thing.
It bothers me. It really bothers me.
But that's why, like, as you know, as an artist, like we always, especially like myself and Tay and Nick and you know the collective side, Carmen, like we really just, you know, look at it like, you know, we're giving you what you think you want to hear. We're giving you what you need to hear, basically. Not what you think you want to hear. We're giving you what you need to hear. And you know, when I hear people say, you know, when you coming out with Forefront 2 or when you coming out with, you know, another 80s album and all that stuff, and I'm like, you know, we are like we're evolving. Like, you know, we're trying to keep things current, which is why like I kind of broke away from doing the compilation style albums and now doing, you know, more EP style albums where, you know, my collaborations are more concentrated, like, you know, just me and Tall Black Eye, just me and Psy, you know, and then, you know, making albums with them just because I'm like, you know, this is what y'all need. Trust me. Like if you're a listener, like you've trusted me up to this point, so trust me. You know what I mean? And you know, they're only gonna right. They're only gonna ask for sequels just because that's what they know from the past. Where it's like, you know, we're thinking 3-4 steps ahead anyway. And it's like, yeah, y'all think y'all want Forefront 2, but you just wait.
You know, I was gonna be shady though, for real. So I was gonna be like, when you and Fonte was gonna give us an I Love 80s again.
Oh no.
You know, because I was picking on him. Because I mean, not picking on him. I was saying, I know y'all tired of people asking you that.
Now, I'm gonna say, I'll say this because like normally when people ask online, like I just ignore it because I mean, the 80s album came out almost we're going on 13 years now. Came out in July of 2008. Limited release. We only did like 2,500 copies. All of them were numbered so that they were, you know, really special. And, you know, they sold out in a month or so, a couple months. And, you know, it was just a thing where, you know, I didn't want to be known as like a covered guy.
That makes sense.
I feel like my abilities reach beyond that. Like I love doing the covers because doing the cover albums kind of served as practice. This is me being a student. So when we do Africa and then, you know, at the end, you know, we take a left and we making our own song, like that's practice to me in the studio. That's kind of keeping your skills sharp.
Right.
You know, into Just Visiting 2 and the Just Visiting 3, which is where we stopped. And that was 10 years ago. But it was like, you know, I didn't do mixtapes or anything like that. So that was kind of my mixtape, you know, something that we just gave out for free, you know, to kind of wet the palate a little bit in between albums to, you know, let folks still know that we, you know, we still out here doing it. But also, you know, staying sharp in the studio. But then it became a thing to where it's like, okay, now the cover albums are starting to get more shine than my original material. That's not what I want. So they kind of make sure that I'm keeping the focus where it needs to be. You know, this is music from my own head and not, you know, just us being a cover band. Like I never want to do that. Always want to pay homage, you know, to folks we admire and we listen to and grew up off of. But at the same time, I think that also paying homage to them means, you know, kind of taking their influence and, you know, maybe taking it a step higher or, you know, just putting your own spin on it and making your own music. So, you know, that's what we've promised we were going to do, and we haven't turned back. Like we were going to do a 90s album soon after the 80s album, but like it just, we was like, nah.
And I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it makes perfect sense because I'm like, what you did, you know, with your albums, you can still hear you're giving your influence in there. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I hear Sunstorm and I hear Say How You Feel, I still hear Leon and I hear Curtis Mayfield. Maybe that's me, but I hear that. You know what I mean? So I feel like you said, being a cover band, I think that's, after a while, that's showing that y'all dope because y'all made those Africa and Take On Me and y'all made all them joints y'all's. You know what I mean? But then when you did your projects, it's like, yo, these are dope. Like sometimes I don't even think about I love the 80s. I'm sorry. I'll be like, well, if I want to hear Zoe, I'm gonna listen to Man Made. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, forget that. You know what I'm saying? But hey, if you want to do it, I'm here for it. But if you don't, hey.
Yeah, I'm sure that was. I think the reason why one of the reasons why we didn't, it's coming back. Reason why we didn't do the 90s was just because it was like, what are we gonna do? Like, it was almost too modern. Like, you know, we ended off with the Come Inside, but you know, the 90s was kind of where, like, I love 90s music, but like the songwriting kind of went to hell in a lot of ways.
That's
you know what I'm saying? So we were just like, yo, you know, that was kind of the thing with the 80s. We were like, the songwriting on these joints are incredible. Like, we love that stuff. It was just us taking it and updating it, like to a, you know, to the 2008 sound or a modernized black sound. You know, just seeing what it would sound like. Like, you know, we love Africa. We love those songs. We love Take On Me. Everybody in here can recite that synth line.
Come on.
So, you know, hip hop wasn't the only thing we were listening to in the 80s because it wasn't around like that. So, you know, we were listening to Run DMC and Houdini and you know, a few other LL, but like it wasn't like it is now to where it's, you know, it's a mainstay. So we were listening to all those groups and you know, taking it all in and getting influences from them as well.
Right. Absolutely.
Yes. So what we're gonna do is towards the end of our conversations, we do a little word association game.
Okay.
And so, since we're talking about the 80s, the answers to, I'm gonna say a word, and you tell me the first song, R&B song from the 80s that comes to mind. Just don't think about it too hard. All right.
Okay.
And
I'll try.
Okay. It's okay. It's fine. I promise. So the first word kind of takes off what we were talking about. The first word is Patrice Rushen.
Remind me.
Right.
Yeah, that would be the first. I was gonna say Feel So Real, but Remind Me is the one.
Good job, Zoe. Good job.
All right. Synthesizer.
The System. Oh, Don't Disturb This Groove.
Hey.
That's a good one.
I love The System. A lot of people don't like deep dive into them, and they should. They really should.
They are incredible. They are incredible as far as, you know, again, that the drum programming and the synthesized, like percussive, like synthesized, man. Yeah, David Frank was on. He was in his bag, boy.
Yeah, because it's synthesizers, but it's layered. The music is thick. It's not thin music, you know.
Don't Disturb This Groove. Like when you go to you try to play that as a piano player as one. Good luck.
You thought.
Yeah, not today.
All right. Next word. Jam and Lewis.
I got to pick one. Sands of Time. That would be my one. Sands of Time.
All right. Nice. All right. Jerry Curl.
And it's got to be a song.
It could be anything. This is our game.
Ready for the World. It's either Ready for the World or Full Force. It's one of the two.
Yeah. I think I was gonna say Full Force too. Yeah. Honestly,
I'm such a Full Force like super duper fan. Like it's kind of.
And I love the way they've been able to like just the longevity that they've had.
Yes.
That people don't even know. I'm like, yo, you don't know? Like these boy bands that they was writing and producing for, these cats are good.
Yes, when I was reading them liner notes back then, and I was looking at, Backstreet Boys and Britney and all them, and I was looking at them, and I was like, whoa, what? For real? Yeah. I know my mom is probably like, why are you talking about them?
But it's like, yeah, sometimes some stuff just gets so big. It's like, yo, who behind this. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Longevity, man.
Yeah, they
Longevity.
did their thing. All right. All right. Last word. Band.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
All right.
Yeah, I'm tossing up between Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I was just gonna say SOS.
Be consistent, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, but Earth, Wind, and Fire, they still had some shit going on in them early 80s.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, because the Rays album was a #1 album in '82. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So we want to give you this time to tell us about anything new you got coming up, any projects, any fun stuff.
Just finished Sherman Showcase Music with Fonte. That was a month straight of just, there you go, month straight of just going in.
Cute.
My God, yeah, we was going in during the holidays. So just finished that. Wrapping up EPs with Tall Black Guy and Cy Smith, and both of those will be out this year, and we'll probably be putting something out sooner than y'all think.
Ooh, I like hearing that.
I'm excited. I'm super excited about the Cy Smith because I'm a Cy Smith super fan. Like I tell everybody I know about it, like, you need to listen to this, and oh, you need a playlist? Here you go. Like, you need this in your life.
Yeah. Cy is one of the easiest. She's one of the easiest to work with. You know, me and Fonte have been working since 06, which, damn, I guess that's almost up on 20 years. That's okay. I think of 20 years ago, like the 90s. So, you know, I'm still there.
Yeah.
Like the 80s and 90s. I'm like 87. That was 20 years ago. No, it wasn't. But yeah, she's one of the easiest. I just talked to her last night. Like, she's one of the easiest to work with. She's one of those artists where you can send her a song and, you know, she'll send you back her stuff fully done, and all you have to do is take her vocals, just pop it into the session, and you good. So, you know, anybody that works like that, and she and I have been working together since 08, I think. So, you know, anybody that works like that, like, I want to continue working with, and that's why she's been on everything that I've been on, you know, since 2008. So anything that got my name on it, you know, my albums, like, she's making an appearance.
Yes. I love her so much. This is my fan out moment. I love her so much.
Yeah. I got one question for you too, Zoe. Like, so, you know, with the new people that's out right now, I feel like, for me, what do you feel about K Tronada? Because he reminds me a lot of you.
I mess with Katra. I mess with Katra. I like his stuff. I mean, I like the musicality of his stuff.
Right.
You know, it doesn't get boring to me. Like, you know, yeah, I mess with Katra. I mess with Katra. He got a nice, like, he has a feel. Like, he has that feel where it's like, you know, whether you're in a club or, you know, if I'm just listening here casually, it's like, yo, like, I gotta move. Like, I gotta, you know, I can't sit still listening to his stuff. So I'm mess with him.
Yeah. He kind of remind, when I heard K Tronada, I was like, I wonder if K Tronada is inspired by, you know what I mean, by Zoe, because his up tempos remind me of yours. So that's why I was like, what did you think about him? You know what I mean? Did you rock with him?
Yeah, no, I mess with him, and shit, he might be inspired. I don't even know. We haven't talked. I mean, we follow each other on Twitter with, you know, whatever weight that holds in 2021.
Right.
But we've never had a conversation. But yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Katra, for sure.
Yeah. And what I like that he does, what I also feel that you do, is they give the right sound to the right singer.
Yes. Yep.
Like,
which is very, very important.
Yeah. It's like he stays true to his sound, and you stay true to your sound, but you craft it around this singer. And I love that. Yeah.
That's even taking notes from, you know, as early as, like, the Motown producers, you know, when they would cut like the same song on 3 and 4 different
right,
just release one, and then, you know, the rest of the stuff we get to hear on like anniversary editions and stuff like that. Like, oh, I didn't know, you know, Brenda Holloway had this version, and I didn't know Monitors did this, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But like, it's taking notes from that, taking notes from Leon again, you know, stuff that he would do with Dynasty as opposed to Shalamar, when it's got kind of the same vocal makeup. Where, like, for example, and I remember asking Fonte when he was on QLS, I was like, yo, ask him how he differentiated, you know, what he would give to Shalamar, what he would give to Dynasty. Because like a song like Here I Am by Dynasty, which is like one of my favorites by them.
Yeah.
I can easily hear Howard and Jody singing on that. Like, it's very, very close.
Yeah.
But I think he was saying it was just like, you know, it was something like whoever was there or whoever showed up. It wasn't anything like really intricate or anything like that. Whereas for us, like, you know, when me and Tay like get on the phone and talk about, you know, who you hear on this song. You hear female vocalists, you hear male vocalists. Okay, you know, who can we reach out to? Okay, who's going to get it done? So, you know, that's kind of the filter that goes down to, you know, maybe like 2 names, and then, you know, we try to reach out and, you know, see what we can get done. But yeah, that's super important. That's just as important as like sequence of an album to me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you for hanging out with us, music nerds. And
So, yeah, this one I was looking forward to. I was like, man, they gonna know what they talking about. I can't wait.
Yo, do you know, I was so nervous for this. I was like, yo, because I'm talking to somebody that I'm a fan of. Like, I'm really a fan. So I was like, and Elise was like, calm down. He's so nice.
Yeah, man, I ain't nobody, man. My rate one the first like everybody else.
Yeah. It was cool, you know what I'm saying?
Word.
Like, I had to get my fandemonium out for a minute and get myself right for this. So.
No, I appreciate it, man, and y'all keep doing what y'all doing, man, because y'all are kind of giving us a voice, and, you know, to the unheard, man. So, you know, we appreciate it on this side.
Yes. Well, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. And again, thank you for hanging out with us. And hopefully we can talk to you again about something else, maybe.
Yeah, we can talk next month about another album. Let's do
it. Let's go.
Oh, you ain't said nothing.
Y'all hit me in the email. Let's go.
All right. Hold you to it. All right. Well, thank you. And also thank you for everybody tuning in to catch that with the R&B Representers.